And welcome back, fellow adventurers, to Let's Play Dragon Age Inquisition. Well, it took me longer than I'd like to admit of running around and doing a lot of fetching, but all of the remaining quests that I'd like to get done before we start the first of the two DLCs that I'd like to show has been completed. First off, I found everything I needed to construct a Tome of the Rifts, which is what you need to become a Rift Mage. So we'll finish this up by talking to our trainer one more time.
You are back. You are back, and you have completed the instruction. Alive. Of course, alive.
And the next step?
Now there is a decision. You have to make it. Do you commit to this path?
And just the last, are you sure you want to become this specialization, because then you can't do the others.
You are my trainer.
Haha, yes I am. Thank you. I will give you this knowledge, and you will use it to great effect. How could you not? You are the Inquisitor, and you will be a Rift Mage.
Alright. So now, if we go to our character record, there's our specialization right here. And as you can see, when I was running around, I did a good amount of leveling, so now we can fill out this tree pretty quick. This is what I was looking for most. You get Firestorm. Basically, if you recall, we'll go with this one. If you recall, at the very, very beginning of the game, when the breach first opened up, there was all this green fireballs coming down from the breach and just, littering the ground all over the place. And that's what you can do once you have this specialization. Not quite as widespread, but still pretty devastating.
Your worship.
We also have some judgment to pass, so we'll go ahead and sit on the throne here.
Another of the lingering pains of adamant, your worship. Sir Ruth is a senior warden of the Order. She was one of the many who slit the throat of another to bind a demon. She does not contest this. In fact, she surrendered to us. She requests no mercy. She wants the public justice of the headman's axe. You're very serious about this. Is more death the answer?
There is no excuse for my actions. I murdered another of the Order. That blood marks me more than the Blight ever could.
Accepting their actions while thralls of Corypheus, many treaties allow wardens any extreme if it opposes the Blight.
I can't do it. I can't use the greater good to justify my crimes, as if it would create a future I could be a part of. It is wrong that this broke me. I've done worse. With full sanction, I can do nothing except be an example of the cost.
Alright, so you can pass your jurisdiction because she's a warden. You can humiliate her, jail her, or send her into the deep roads. I think we'll go with the deep roads on this one. We'll let her basically complete her destiny one way or the other. Unless, of course, Warden Vexus can remove the calling. But there's no guarantee for that. And it's considered, a final honor among other wardens, the last honor, to be able to die in the deep roads fighting the Darkspawn.
You feel your life is over? There's a place for such wardens. Sir Ruth, you'll go to the deep roads. Your death may be as quick as you choose.
This sends no message. This is just an end.
Alright. We have another one? We do.
Mistress Pulin of Sarnia is accused of aiding and abetting the Red Templars in the Dales. She sold a quarry to them for a handsome sum. They used the quarry to grow red lyrium by enslaving townspeople. The only extenuating circumstance, Mistress Pulin was procuring supplies to keep the remaining townspeople fed.
If you'd like to explain your intentions, speak.
My crime was misjudgment. The land sale was meant to bring prosperity in hard times.
Surely it was clear you were selling to the enemy.
We were starving, and they told me they'd reopen the mines. Selling the quarry so hastily was a mistake. I did what I could to rectify it.
Well, certainly death seems a bit overkill in this situation. Could take the money. Question is, would that leave it with us, or would that give it to the people that she was trying to get it for? For some reason, this one is kind of giving me the most trouble. She doesn't seem particularly malicious. Well, this is something that usually you can't choose, and oftentimes that tends to be a more interesting option, so I'll go with this one.
As a noble of the Free Marches, I have right to goods won in battle against forces hostile to a sovereign crown. I hereby invoke our treaty with Orlais and claim your earnings for House Trevelyan.
By the Maker, I've never heard of such a treaty. This is preposterous.
Of course, the others didn't really like that decision because she's basically taking the money for herself. But, you know, we don't have any... She didn't give any explicit implication that she's using that to line her own pockets. And I don't think Aurora would do that anyway. My guess is she'll probably just go ahead and distribute the money as she sees fit. Let's see. I don't think we have any more judgments, so let's go and see if we can finish some operations here. We get another perk. Let's see. I don't need lots of inventory right now. And that's for merchants. We have rare stocks. Cheaper items. Oh, what's the reputation one? Oh yeah, that's also for items. Oh yeah, this was one of the things I was complaining about, wasn't it? With access to a forward training camp, the Inquisition scouts can receive training to cover a wider area and identify items of interest to the Inquisitor. It reveals additional landmarks and point of interest on the map in every area. Well, since I was whining about this earlier, I guess it's only appropriate that I take that. Alright.
Are the soldiers ready?
As ready as they can be. We're asking a lot of them.
Okay, the delicate negotiations are ready. The talks between Ferelden and Orlais took place in Jadar, and it was not easy to keep matters from spiraling out of control. King Alistair is no diplomat, after all, and had little patience for the endless fanfare. Thankfully, the Orlesians are uninterested in more war, and we were able to smooth the way towards an eventual peace treaty. The king sent along a sword that once belonged to Ferelden hero King Calanhad, as thanks for what the Inquisition helped create. Oh, so we get a unique sword out of that. Annexing Kirkwall. Kirkwall was forced to cede much of its northern territory, a significant victory for Sebastian Vale. However, in presenting an overwhelming force, we encouraged Guard Captain Aveline to pull the militia back with no casualties. They now fortify behind the walls of the city at full strength. The result is a stalemate that is unlikely to appease the prince's anger, but the tactics of the moment were less obvious to Vale, and he believes himself beholden to us. His gratitude has allowed my agents to get close to him and enter into his confidence. From now on, the prince's plans will be known to the Inquisition. That may not be a bad idea, because Sebastian is really, really bent on vengeance at this point. So we may want to know whether he's about to fly off the handle. I cannot say that we have peace, but we have calm. Our representative spoke with the protesting mages and reassured them of how gravely you approach the use of tranquility. I suspect that the only reason they were successfully reasoned with is that you yourself are a mage. They may wonder how one of their own could do that to another mage, but on some level they accept that at least it was one of their own. Colin. It was not a decision that we took lightly. Ah, yes. So we need to do this one, because this will finish out Josephine's quest. But only if we... I think that may be one of the possibilities. I need to double check to see if that's the only way to go, or if we can... But I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, I wanted to do this one. Yeah, this is something that only Liliana can do here. None of our agents have seen the hero of Ferelden, but our normal work led us to scattered references of him passing through the area. It will take serious commitment of resources, but we could attempt to contact him. Sister Regine? I think that's it. At your command, I will attempt to make contact.
Let's see what we have.
And I'm not sure if this location of this changes around based on your warden's origin, but I think it might, because this is located at Lake Calenhad, which is where the Ferelden Circle of Magi is. And that's, of course, where we started in the first game. Alright, let me back up for just a second, because I want to double check to make sure that we just have to complete that one operation, or if we have a choice. So we go to the inner circle, unexpected engagement. Yes, alright, we do have to do that. So even though Josephine would rather not have us challenge her current betrothed to a duel, we're going to do it anyway. And so, and of course, because Josephine doesn't want this, we can't use her to do it. So we use Cullen. Josephine's parents have betrothed her to a man named Lord Ontranto. Challenge him to a duel where if he loses, he'll break off the engagement. Cullen says, I suppose I could send one of my people to issue the challenge to a duel, if that is your command.
To work?
I have a feeling Liliana would be more up for this than he is. Alright. Let's just to kind of balance things, let's do one more operation somewhere over in Orlais. I remember Dorian talking about this. According to Dorian, it might be possible to discover who Corypheus once was. Knowing he was human could make him less attractive to Tevinter zealots who think of him as a god. Acquiring this information, however, is more difficult than one might suppose. Such ancient information could be found in the Magisterium's library in Minrathrus, but the Grand Archivist has so far replied to our messages with polite misdirection. Dorian says he is the king of this particular castle and knows it. He might be blocking our efforts out of allegiance to Corypheus, or simply because he can. Josephine says, bribe the man with gifts and favors. This is normal for Tevinter, and what he expects.
At your service.
Alright. So now we have some companion quests to finish up. So we'll do some map traveling for that. So, First off... Oh, actually, no. There's one I can do right here. I need to report to Cullen, I think. So we'll go here and go up the stairs. Off camera, I went and finished up the quest Before the Dawn, which was for Cullen. And we basically destroyed the red lyrium mines down in Emprise du Lion. I did finally find my way around, though it took a while. So I'm glad I didn't do that on camera. And we basically found a bunch of correspondence from Samson to the Templars that were mining the red lyrium. So now all we have to do, I think, is report our findings to Cullen. Is he not here? A letter. Dear Mia, I'm still alive. Your loving brother Cullen. Honestly, is it so difficult? We thought you were dead. Again. If the Inquisition was not on everyone's lips, we would never have heard that their fine commander survived Haven. We've been hearing strange things about the Templars lately. I am not sorry you left them. I thought your resignation was implied when you joined the Inquisition, but you meant something more, didn't you? It's a fool's errand asking you to stay safe, but please try. Your loving sister. See how easy this is? Mia. Ooh, he's getting in trouble for not letting his family know that he's still alive.
Inquisitor, if you're looking for the commander, he's gone to speak with Seeker Pentagast.
Oh. Okay. Well, in that case, let's just go back to where we were before. Somewhere around here. I don't see the quest marker. I guess we'll have to find them. Not here. There's Cassandra.
Writing does not come naturally to me, as I'm certain you can imagine.
Trying to outdo Varric's next literary masterpiece?
I haven't his talent for blather. As if written by a dim-witted child. Historians will one day ask what happened at Adamant Fortress, in the Fade. I wasn't there, but others were. Their accounts must be recorded.
That's an excellent idea, Cassandra.
I certainly thought so, until I started writing. I still don't know what to say about the spirit of the divine. The Chantry teaches us that the souls of the dead pass through the Fade, so it could have been her. Yet even so...
Do you really think it might have been her? A ghost?
A ghost. A remnant of her hopes and memories. Her lingering will to do good. Those things are all possible. Nobody knows for certain what happens after we die. A spirit could have assumed her form, but why? It helped you, as Justinia herself would have.
I don't know the truth any more than you do.
Sadly, unanswered questions make for poor reading. When they told me you were physically in the Fade, I was terrified for you. The last time such a thing happened, we created Darkspawn. We created Corypheus. The world needs to know the truth this time. No more legends lost to the ages.
Alright, so some follow-up on the last mission with Cassandra. Okay, now we have a quest marker, so we had to talk about that one first. Or have that scene first. To go out and come back in, maybe? Yeah, Here we go.
You asked for my opinion, and I've given it. Why would you expect it to change?
I expect you to keep your word. It's relentless. I can't...
You give yourself too little credit.
If I'm unable to fulfill what vows I kept, then nothing good has come of this. Would you rather save face than admit... We will speak of this later.
And people say I'm stubborn. This is ridiculous. Cullen told you that he's no longer taking lyrium?
Yes, and I respect his decision.
As do I. Not that he's willing to listen. Cullen has asked that I recommend a replacement for him. I refused. It's not necessary. Besides, it would destroy him. He's come so far.
Why didn't he come to me?
We had an agreement long before you joined us. As a Seeker, I could evaluate the dangers.
Cassandra, did you refuse Cullen's request because he's wrong? Or because you want him to be wrong?
Mages have made their suffering known, but Templars never have. They are bound to the Order, mind and soul, with someone always holding their lyrium leash. Cullen has a chance to break that leash, to prove to himself, and anyone who would follow suit, that it's possible. He can do this. I knew that when we met in Kirkwall. Talk to him. Decide if now is the time.
Well, Cassandra certainly believes in him, and we've not really seen any evidence otherwise. Anything else to say, Cassandra? Yes.
I can keep staring at this, but I won't get any closer.
Keep banging your head against the problem. It'll go away eventually.
I'm predictable, I know. I suppose I'll never find them on my own. We saw so many Red Templars at the assault on Haven. Perhaps all that was left of the Order. What we didn't see was Lord Seeker Lucius. Indeed, I've seen no hint of any Seekers amongst the Red Templars, or anywhere. I have a growing suspicion Corypheus has imprisoned them.
Why imprisoned? He could just as easily have killed them.
Not easily. But yes, they may be dead. But the Seekers began this war against the mages. They cannot have simply vanished. There must be a trail we can follow, yet so far I have only discovered hints.
But they could have ended up just like the Red Templars.
Seekers do not use lyrium. I assume Corypheus gained control of the Templars by corrupting the lyrium they were already taking. To do the same to a Seeker, you'd have to force the lyrium upon him. That may be what happened, but it couldn't have begun that way. We're missing a piece of the puzzle, Inquisitor. I need to find it.
Finding them obviously means a lot to you.
I left the Order, but I can never abandon them. I cannot even claim that rescuing them would be beneficial. They wouldn't look kindly on the Inquisition. But even so, if there's a chance... If we can spare resources to follow up on these leads, Inquisitor, I would appreciate it.
Alright, so we have Cassandra's personal quest. I think we're only missing one more, and that's Blackwall's. So we can probably check in with him in a little bit and see if he's going to provide us with his, and then we'll have everything ready to go. I'll follow up with Cullen here first. Just need to get back up on the wall. Around we go. Hopefully he'll actually be in his office this time.
Maker's breath. I didn't hear you enter. Forgive me.
So long as you weren't aiming at me, I'm sure the box had it coming.
I swear, I didn't know you were... I never meant for this to interfere.
Are you going to be all right?
Yes. I don't know. You asked what happened to Ferelden's Circle. It was taken over by abominations. The Templars, my friends, were slaughtered. I was tortured. They tried to break my mind, and I... How can you be the same person after that? Still, I wanted to serve. They sent me to Kirkwall. I trusted my Knight Commander, and for what? Her fear of mages ended in madness. Kirkwall's Circle fell. Innocent people died in the streets. Can't you see why I want nothing to do with that life?
Of course I can.
Don't. You should be questioning what I've done. I thought this would be better. That I would regain some control over my life, but these thoughts won't leave me. How many lives depend on our success? I swore myself to this cause. I will not give less to the Inquisition than I did to Chantry. I should be taking it. I should be taking it.
So here you have a couple different options that lead to basically either encouraging him or discouraging him from taking the lyrium.
You give enough, Cullen. I'm not asking you for more. The Inquisition can be your chance to start over, if you want it to be.
I don't know if that's possible.
It is.
All right.
All right. And there are different consequences in the epilogue, whether or not you tell him to stop the lyrium or to go back onto it. All right. Now let's tell him about the fact that we've destroyed a whole bunch of red lyrium mining. That should put him in a better mood.
I've been reading the letters found in the quarry. Samson is making red lyrium from people?
Not anymore. Not in that mine.
I knew Samson had fallen, but this... it's monstrous. We have to put an end to him. Look at these orders from the encampment. That armor must give Samson extraordinary power. We may not be able to stop him.
Take away his armor and the lyrium, and Samson's just another man.
I couldn't say how. Templars are trained not to destroy expensive magical equipment. Perhaps Dagna has some ideas. She crafts the impossible every day.
All right. And that's the idea that instead of just mining lyrium, that you can also grow it in people, goes along the same theme that Bianca was talking about during Varric's quest, in that she has a strong suspicion that lyrium is in some way biological, in some way it's alive. And that means that maybe you could grow it inside another organism. It also may give one pause when you think about all of the mages and Southern Templars that are grinding up and taking this stuff, ingesting it. Alright, so we'll visit Dagna in the Undercroft. see what she has to say about this.
Not trying to stop.
Dagna, what have you learned of Samson?
He should be dead. I mean, you could make a hat out of red lyrium and kill people, especially the wearer. Samson's armor, it's genius. To do all this and not go insane, it must be resistant. Or he is insane. Or both.
Considering how much lyrium he's taken, he might be actually be particularly resistant to it.
You're not comforting me, Dagna. He's dangerous either way.
Oh, fine. I just need time and tools. People. And red lyrium. For tests, you see?
Is that wise?
Everything is safe if handled properly. And you don't touch it long. Or breathe it. I mentioned the hat, right? No hat. Time and resources, Inquisitor. I'll get what you want. No, shoo! I have work to do.
Alright. Now we've turned that into an operation that we can fulfill. As a mechanic, I don't mind having these operations. In fact, a lot of them I think are kind of nice because of the scope they give to the story. They're just not the best for Let's Plays because they are set on a fixed timer. So sometimes it's hard to pace them in a way that works for a Let's Play. We do have Cullen free, so maybe his forces can help gather the materials to see if we can expose Samson's weakness. And that's because we finished this one. Message delivered by a runner. An envoy from Lord Ontranto has arrived, Inquisitor. He is waiting to speak with you. Okay. And where is find Samson's weakness? Oh, actually, I didn't see this one. Oh, we can do that before the actual duel happens. Okay. I'll see if I can do that then. Might give us some extra options. Let's see it over here. Let's try an Orlais. Looking, looking, looking. Something to do with Samson. Should be should be one of the ones that's marked with the special little light on top because it's a new
With rifts contained in the area,
operation.
and send in smaller groups to offer relief.
I agree. Are you well?
A headache, nothing more.
Oh, there it is. Who are we going to need here? Red lyrium is very strange. How Samson's armor hasn't killed him, I don't know. I can find out, but it'll take time and money, tools, tests, and some books I remember from a circle or two. They aren't stolen or burned, in which case I'll need to write them. And it isn't cheap. And ink isn't cheap. Dagna. Okay, well, Cullen can't do it, otherwise we'd be able to finish up that mission. So we'll have to send Cullen on doing something else. How about this one? The disgraced Grey Warden Sir Ruth wishes to make good on your judgment, Inquisitor. She has asked for assistance in reaching one of the deeper recesses of the deep roads so that her premature calling might serve a greater good. Laudable, but any expedition to the deep roads comes with considerable risk. Cullen, many of our soldiers lost family to the Blight. I have no doubt many would volunteer to escort the Warden. My concern is that they would not stop at escorting.
All right.
Well, we'll give her that as kind of a last send-off. Alright. Done as much as we could do at the war table for now. So it's back to companion quests. Let's do Cassandra's, I think. She was one of the first people that we met. Oh, wait a minute. No, we have to do one of this at the table, I think, first, because you have to investigate the disappearance of the Seekers. Ah, okay. Again, that'll take some time, just because of the way that the operations work. So let's move on to another one that we can do. And yeah, we can do the one for Vivian, because that should be right here. I actually did go off and get the heart of a snowy wyvern. So we'll just hurry up the stairs here, and we'll give it to her. See what she wants it for. Apparently some sort of really fancy schmancy alchemy going on.
What can I do for you, my dear? Is it too much to hope that you've brought me the heart of the snowy wyvern?
Now, if you've defeated a normal wyvern, you can lie and say that you've brought the heart, and it's basically the wrong type. But at this point in the story, it's not... I don't know any particular reason why Aurora should be so duplicitous towards Vivian.
If you want the wyvern's heart, you'll have to tell me what you're using it for.
I can do better, darling. Give me the heart, and I'll show you what it's for. Will that suffice?
All right, deal.
All right. 1 heart, as requested.
How kind of you. Please accept this as your payment. I must begin work immediately. You have been a dear friend, and I would like you to come with me. This should only take a moment, Inquisitor. I'm here, my darling.
Vivian,
Yes, darling.
it's going to be all right, my love.
My darling? Bastien?
Vivian, I'm sorry.
There's nothing here now.
Well, that was pretty tragic. So I guess the snowy wyvern heart was for the purposes of trying to cure whatever illness her lover had. But it didn't work.
Inquisitor.
And nothing you can do can pretty much change that fate, unfortunately. Whether you give her a snowy wyvern heart for the potion or not.
Bastien is dead. I can hardly believe. It was the Wintersend Ball. My first visit to the Imperial Palace. The Circle sent a dozen of us to entertain the nobility. I was in awe of everyone and everything, and then our eyes met. Bastien spent the entire ball at my side. The Dowager tried to have him killed for slighting her, but he didn't care.
Obviously he was smitten. But what did you think of him?
He was a dashing rogue, and any defects he might have had were made up for with rank and importance. It was a more innocent time, I suppose. And now he's gone, and I must write to his son Laurent. And his sister will make a terrible fuss if she isn't informed first. And I'll need to arrange for the chantry services. Maker only knows how long that will take.
If I can help you, just say the word.
No, my dear. I'll handle everything. Excuse me, I have so much to do.
Not one to accept much consolence.
You walked physically through the Fade. Please tell me what you remember.
We didn't take Vivian along, so she's curious.
In all the times I've been to the Fade, I've never seen it react so strongly to my presence. No one else has physically entered the Fade since the Magisters assaulted the Golden City. Oh, I'm positively envious right now.
Alright, I guess that's it. I do have to say, as companion quests go, Vivian's is a bit weird, because on the one hand, it's one of the companion quests that takes the most effort to actually get done, but at the same time, the payoff is pretty quick and short. So it leaves a bit to be desired compared to all the other ones, some of which are really good.
Inquisitor.
Just curious. Yeah, so even though we chose a specialization from the Rift Mage, the other teachers apparently are still hanging out in Skyhold. Maybe they're training others to be their disciples. Alright, so next thing we can do is going to be... Yep, actually looks like we have one more that we can do right now, and that is Coals. So we'll do that. But first we have to find the amulet. Man, I keep forgetting how, or I had forgotten how many of these companion quests require that operations be completed first. Alright, well in that case then, we'll just move on to what else I planned, which is to actually start some DLC. There were 3 main DLCs that were released for the game as far as new story content goes. The very first one was called The Jaws of Haakon, which has to do with the Avar tribes in the far south. But as with most stuff that has to do with the Avar, it's so thinly connected for the most part to what's going on in the main story. I'm not particularly interested in showing it on camera. However, the second one they released was called The Descent. It has to do with a trip in the deep roads. And that's one I've decided that I will show. Again, I won't be worried about getting all of the side quests in the DLC completed. Just the main storyline. Again, at least for the on-camera stuff. And you can do that by going to, I think it's the Ferelden side? Yes. If you go to the Ferelden side, there's a operation called Disaster in the Deep Roads. Actually, the first time I saw this, I didn't realize it was the Descent DLC, so I activated it and watched the first scene, and then my first playthrough, I backed up and I decided not to do it because I wanted to do the main game first. So, similar to the other DLC we'll be doing, this is actually going to be semi-blind. There's a couple things that I know about the DLC just as I was doing background research for the Let's Play. But I'd say for the most part, both the Descent and the DLC at the very end of the game called Trespasser is pretty much blind for me, and I definitely haven't played them myself. So this will be interesting.